How do you like my shades, huh? Oof. Special shaded episode. Now, today the shades are in honor of someone we're going to talk about that in a way I'm surprised we haven't discussed yet. A fella by the name of Nero. Nero knowledge. Semi more seriously, I don't know how these guys wear shades when they do videos. A lot of YouTubers like wearing shades. I don't like them for my vids. Yeah, Nero. I wanted to talk about Nero because I think he's worth talking about. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Tim. I've been doing this stuff for a while. I have a sticker here from my daughter, I guess. You are the top quality. So that's who I am. I've also written multiple books on manifesting and spiritual concepts and stress management concepts and incorporating them with everyday life. And I call bullshit on most YouTubers and most of the spiritual bypassing that happens in the law of attraction, law of assumption, manifesting space. So that brings us to Nero, knowledge. Because I've gotten a couple messages, people asking me about what I thought of Nero. And the first of this was, I don't know, maybe half a year ago. And I never heard of him, and I went to his channel. And I was like, well, this looks like the same old marketing bullshit, you know? Black guy in shades and a do-rag talking about manifestation concepts. You're not going to fool me. And I was expecting the same old BS. And I was pleasantly shocked that this guy actually knew what he was talking about. Game recognizes game. So that's my short version of my review. I'll now go into the weeds and the nuances of it. But for those of you wondering, Papa Bear Tim's verdict on Nero knowledge, he's legit. He's legit. Nero is, I can't think off the top of my head of a better YouTuber that has a big following, meaning like over 100,000 subscribers. I can't think of a better coach or teacher off the top of my head on YouTube talking about these concepts than Nero. You know, most of the people I like have a much smaller following. Those of you familiar with my channel know who those people are. Yeah, I mean, you know, Quasi Joe here has done a lot of good stuff over the years. He's got a big following. But I think that Nero is probably better for most people. Obviously, we've talked about Sammy Ingram a lot, but Sammy, as great as she is at teaching one thing, is basically a one-trick pony and has a toxic community. So she really can't compare to Nero. And off the top of my head, I can't really think of anybody else who is worth even discussing in this YouTuber manifesting space. Because I think Nero would agree with me in saying that if you want to learn about these concepts and how to integrate them into your life, you probably want to get the fuck off of YouTube. People who like my channel, I think one reason they like it is I always tell you, get off YouTube, go to the source, think for yourself, integrate this stuff using, you know, your real emotional intelligence, your spiritual intelligence. And don't just listen to people blabbing on and on and on YouTube about these theories and ideas when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, at least most of the time. And that's what makes Nero an exception, is he clearly does have a grasp of a lot of the stuff he's speaking about. And like everybody, you know, I disagree with a bunch of what he says, and I expect people to disagree with a bunch of stuff that I say. It's not about that. But he has a grasp on these various ideas, these various spiritual manifesting ideas that he presents in his own way. the way he speaks about it is different than how anybody else on YouTube speaks about this stuff. In the same way that how I speak about it is different than how anybody else on YouTube speaks about it. In the same way that like my friend Maggie Neville Goddess, the way that she speaks about it is different than anybody else on YouTube. It's different. You gotta, chew on this stuff for a while and swallow it. And once, that you've digested it and assimilated it, is when you can begin to talk about it in a unique way that might be able to help people. But that's easier said than done, and I think that there's this kind of groupthink, blanket conformity that comes with this territory, especially on YouTube and other social media when it comes to manifesting concepts. And I think we all fall prey to it, where we oversimplify concepts, and we're all guilty of spiritual bypassing. That goes for every creator. And I think that goes for most of these great law of attraction manifesting teachers as well. There's this idea that this stuff is easy to explain, easy to assimilate. There's also this idea that something is being hidden from us, and that perhaps there's people in the back room, and people pulling the strings that we don't know about. I personally disagree with that angle. I just think we're all pretty stupid. And when you come to terms with that, I think you start being capable of changing yourself more productively, because you're humbled. I of myself can do nothing. But it's very rare still on YouTube to find people who speak about these concepts with some kind of unique spin that can be helpful. And yeah, this is just a shout out to Nero for, from what I've seen, being able to do that. And I might change my opinion. I kind of doubt it. I think he's genuine in what he says. He also has a great story. I'll put a link above to his channel, by the way, if for some reason, I'll put a link in the description. If for some reason you haven't checked out his videos, he has a great story too, great manifestation story about, he had, I don't know, a few thousand YouTube subscribers. And then he went up to like 100,000 subscribers in like four weeks. Great manifestation story. But what I would like to say here is that his story and his approach is his approach. And you got to find your own approach. What Nero can help you with, what a good teacher can help you with, what a good coach can help you with, is finding your own approach, helping you integrate what works for you. It's very easy to talk, to talk the talk here. It's much harder to walk the walk. And what's fascinating about Nero is that he uses a ton of esoteric language and talks so esoterically about this stuff, yet somehow he's still able to convey the message that he wants to, convey to people. Most folks can't do that, let alone with such esoteric language. I like to use more, down in the mud language, but we're all saying basically the same thing, in my opinion. So yeah, I thought it was time to do this review. Probably the first real review of Nero knowledge on YouTube. It's funny, I've seen all these people doing whiteboard videos trying to copy him. You can talk the talk, but you can't walk the walk. That's something else. So yeah, shout out to Nero. If you have any questions for me, if you're interested in my books or my coaching, you can reach me at radicalcounselor.com. I have to stop wearing shades. It's very difficult to concentrate when I have my shades on. Until next time, be unique.